Ancient humans ate cattle, they ate goats, they ate pigs, they ate almost every large animal they ever managed to catch, but one animal became something else entirely. Why? Horses. Fast, powerful, full of meat. Exactly the kind of animal early humans hunted constantly for tens of thousands of years, long before anyone ever thought to climb on one instead of eating it. But riding wasn't always the obvious choice, it seems like now. Keeping a horse alive instead of eating it was one of the biggest, riskiest survival gambles humans ever made. And for a long time, nobody knew if it would pay off. Here's the obvious guess. Maybe horses just weren't good eating. Wrong. Horse meat is lean, calorie dense, and it fed humans reliably for tens of thousands of years before anyone considered doing anything else with the animal. Cave paintings in France, tens of thousands of years old, show horses being hunted long before anyone climbed onto one. Proof that for most of human history, a horse simply meant food, nothing more. So something had to change first. What? Picture a starving family deep into a brutal winter, the kind where every single meal is a decision that matters. In front of them stands one horse, their last large animal, the only one they haven't already eaten. Eat it tonight, and everyone survives the week, full and safe until morning. Keep it alive, and it might carry them somewhere better tomorrow. Or it might simply die anyway, from cold or exhaustion, wasted, taking that last guaranteed meal down with it. That's not an easy choice. That's a bet on the future made by people who genuinely couldn't afford to lose it. Wait, so why bet at all when a full stomach tonight was never guaranteed either way? Because a horse wasn't just one thing to gain or lose, it was several problems solved at once if it lived long enough to prove itself. It could carry loads no human back could manage. Food, tools, injured people, entire households on the move at once. It could scout dangerous ground ahead of a group, covering distance in a single afternoon that would take a person days on foot. It could pull a plow through soil too heavy for human hands, turning marginal, half-useless land into something worth farming season after season. It could carry a message between two settlements faster than any runner alive, arriving with news while it still mattered. And with careful breeding, it could produce more horses, stronger ones, faster ones, turning one lucky gamble into a resource that multiplied on its own. One animal, 5 or 6 different survival tools all wrapped inside a single, living, breathing body. Picture a scout riding ahead of a migrating group at dawn, cresting a hill a full day before the rest of the group could ever reach it on foot, spotting danger or opportunity while there's still time to react. On foot, that same warning might arrive a day too late, long after it could have mattered. Now flip that idea upside down, because here's what almost nobody considers. A dead horse solves one problem, once, and then it's gone forever. A living horse solves 5 problems, indefinitely, day after day, as long as it keeps breathing, keeps working, keeps outrunning whatever tries to catch it. Here's something that should genuinely surprise you. Archaeologists studying ancient horse teeth in Kazakhstan found wear patterns that only come from a bit. Equipment used for riding and control, not for anything to do with eating. Those teeth are roughly 5,500 years old, found at sites with no writing, no metal tools, nothing we'd usually call civilization yet. Wait, that means riding came before almost everything we associate with early history. Before the pyramids, before bronze, before most of what gets taught as the beginning, and once it started, it didn't stay small. Trade routes stretched further than any walking merchant could ever manage alone, connecting places that had once been strangers. Messages crossed entire regions in days instead of weeks, arriving while the news was still useful. Entire empires, centuries later, rose or collapsed depending on which side had horses and which side was still walking. A single advantage deciding the fate of nations that never even met each other in person. Here's the twist that changes everything. Horses weren't spared because ancient humans respected them, admired them, or found something noble in their eyes. They were spared because one living horse quietly outperformed an entire toolbox. A truck, a tractor, a telephone, and a scout, all standing in one field, breathing, waiting to be useful again tomorrow. That's not romance. That's leverage, calculated the same cold way every other survival decision got made back then. And it explains something strange still sitting in plain sight today. Cattle get eaten everywhere, constantly, without a second thought, in nearly every culture on the planet. Horses, even now, provoke a strange hesitation in many places at the very idea of eating one, despite being just as biologically edible as any other animal standing in a farmyard. That hesitation isn't really about the animal itself, it's an old, inherited caution, passed down quietly across thousands of years from people who learned the hard way that this particular animal paid off far more standing than roasted. Here's something stranger still. In places like Central Asia and parts of France, horse meat was never taboo at all. It stayed on tables for thousands of years, right alongside beef and pork, without any of the discomfort found elsewhere. The difference was never the animal itself. It was how many other jobs that horse was doing in that particular culture. Hauling, farming, riding, fighting, carrying messages between towns. The more indispensable the horse became to daily survival, the less imaginable it became as dinner. And where a horse never became quite that essential, no taboo ever really formed at all. The horse standing quietly in a field tonight isn't there because someone thought it was beautiful, though plenty of people do. It's there because thousands of years ago, someone chose potential over a guaranteed meal, staring at real hunger, and won. A bet that quietly kept paying off, generation after generation, long after the people who made it were gone. So here's the real takeaway. Bigger than the question I opened with. Keeping one horse alive changed the course of entire civilizations more than eating 1,000 of them ever could have. Trade moved faster. Armies moved faster. Farms grew larger, feeding more people than human labor alone ever could. Messages arrived sooner, sometimes just in time to save a settlement that would have otherwise never seen it coming. All of it, every bit of it, traced back to a single decision made by someone hungry enough to eat that horse, and hungry enough somehow to resist it instead. Not livestock, not dinner. The engine that carried human history forward, one gamble at a time, long before anyone had a word for what they were actually building.